Hey everybody, it's Dixie Dan. Today we're answering the question, do you have to be Mormon to live in St. George, Utah? Mormons are members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and they settled St. George back in 1854. In today's video, we're going to talk to two individuals that have moved here from outside of Utah and are not Mormon, and they're going to tell us about their experience. Now, Anna, you just moved here from Virginia, right?
Yes.
How long ago did you move to St. George?
So we moved here July 2019.
And what brought you to St. George?
When my husband and I first met, we always wanted to leave the East Coast. We were born and raised there, and we just didn't want to be in California, just too expensive. The biggest reasons were we wanted somewhere that was lower cost of living than where we already were, and also to be in a smaller community with less traffic and be able to raise our kids in a very community, family-friendly area. We knew we wanted to be in Utah, and I literally just Googled cities in Utah by population, and I knew I wanted to be at a certain number, and I went down that list and I found St. George, and I was like, oh, I like this number. And we came out in April of 2019 and we visited, and we were like, we love it, and we were here in July.
Okay. What was it that you said, oh, we love it? There
was very little traffic. We could get across town very easily, and just the scenery, it's beautiful here. The Red Mountains and the sunshine. I wanted a lot of sunshine, and you certainly get that here.
You wanted sort of what, mid-sized type town, right? And why that number?
We were looking for a smaller number, but also still have the amenities. As a family, there's amenities that you need to have, going to Costco, Walmart, grocery stores, hospitals, schools. And we saw that it had those amenities for us.
Now you guys enjoy the outdoors. Was that a big factor?
We enjoy the sun, and to be honest, we don't do a lot of the outdoorsy stuff that most people here.
I mean, sunshine is a big reason people come here, right? And it does have sun 300 plus days a year. So when you found St. George, it had the right population, had the right infrastructure for shopping, that kind of thing. What were some of the questions you had in your mind about St. George at that time?
Like I told you, I have a family, so I had to look into the schools. What were the reviews like? And looked into what was it like being in an area where they're predominantly LDS, and we are not of that faith.
Right.
That was a big concern of ours. Are our kids going to be ostracized? Are they going to be singled out? Are they going to be invited to parties or not?
Right.
We want them, to have friends.
So now that you're here, how has that experience been as far as your kids making friends, you assimilating into the lifestyle here in St. George, and quite frankly, like being around a lot of Mormons? It's
actually been really good. I don't feel like we are treated any differently. My kids actually go to a school here that is an LDS school. They don't treat my kids any differently. They're very welcoming. The reason we picked this school was because of the values that they teach.
Do you mind me asking what faith you are?
I'm a non-denominational Christian.
Okay. So very similar, like Christian type of ideals and whatnot. Okay. If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to subscribe. The button's right here. Are you worried that they're going to be taught Mormon faith guidelines that go contrary maybe to what your specific belief is? Is that a concern?
No, it's not. We get continuous communication from the schools. They bring home their work. As a parent, you have to be involved and do your due diligence, of course. And so we continuously have conversations with the kids, and we teach our own faith. So it's just a continuous communication with them. But any questions that they have and anything I see on their schoolwork, I will bring up. And there's nothing that has stood out to me that would make me concerned about them being at this school.
Okay, that's great to know. What were some of those things that are contrary to the research that you did, or different than you expected?
What I have found to be, when I'm in meeting people and discussing with them, is that just like Christians, the Mormons all believe different things about their faith. There's differences, and I think there's these extremes that you hear about, and it's just not true. I've met so many incredibly wonderful, nice people here, and no matter what their faiths are. So it's just, I've just taken what I've learned on my own research as a grain of salt, and decided that, whoever I meet, and then if I can have a good conversation with them, they're good people. They're just like me. So
anything that would sort of surprise you, like, wow, it's not, I did this research and it said this, but in all actuality, it was like this, like anything like that kind of stands out? To
be honest, no. I guess the only thing I would say is when I first decided to come here, and I told some of my friends back on the East Coast who are Mormon that were moving here, they even told me, why are you moving to Utah? There's Mormons. I'm like, but you're Mormon.
They're going to convert you.
Yes, exactly. And they were just, I was like, you're Mormon. Why would you not want me to go there?
Right.
That's exactly what they said. Like, they're going to convert you. And so the first home we moved into, we got a knock on the door. I was, surprised, but they were so friendly. And what I didn't think about was how was I going to approach them, and if you want to how to say no politely.
Yeah.
So we have had a few knocks on the door, and we just politely say no, thank you.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid. They're not gonna. They don't have horns, or they're not scary, and they're not gonna come back and keep trying to convert you. They're just gonna say okay, and they walk away. They leave you alone.
So how would you suggest that somebody that moves here that's new, the Mormons are going to come knocking, how would you suggest they confront or talk to the Mormons about converting over or not?
You can just say thank you. I'm okay with my faith, but thank you for coming to my door.
Yeah. Were they offended or anything?
No, they weren't. They just said okay, and have a great day.
Okay, good.
And tell them the same thing, have a great day, and they went on their way. And so I've only been approached twice, and I've been here since 2019.
Did they stop coming, or did they still come as friendly neighbors?
They didn't come back.
Okay. Tell me about some things that you were just very happy about. Like you thought it was going to be kind of negative here, but hey, it's been great.
One of the reasons, like I told you earlier, that I wanted to come here was a smaller feel. And I love that I can pick up my kids from school, go home, grab a snack, and just hit the park. That's just 2 minutes away from me. It's a skate park, and my son wants to be here, almost every day. And it doesn't feel like a chore.
Right. You don't have to wait in traffic, and like you were saying, you didn't want to have to deal with that anymore. I mean, the political climate in St. George, very conservative. And you mentioned that was maybe one of the reasons that you wanted to come here too.
The political climate where I'm from is obviously much more liberal. You're right there in DC. One of the biggest differences about there versus here, when I first came here, one of the first questions I got asked was, what religion are you?
Now, who asked you that? Were there just friends or people you started to associate?
Parents from my kids' schools or at the park. Whatever answer I gave, like, well, then you should try this church, or,
Yeah.
So, but back where I'm from, you don't talk about religion. It's almost like taboo. They'd rather talk more about liberal policies. And my husband and I just were a lot more conservative. And so we wanted to be in an area that's much more conservative and family friendly.
What advice would you give to somebody that's considering moving here that's not Mormon?
When I first decided to move here, I thought it was going to be a bigger issue, but it really hasn't been for my family, for myself or my husband. It's really not something I think about every day. I can do all the things I need to do on a daily basis, and I have everything that I've wanted since I've come here that has made our life a lot better. And that's why we came out here, was to have a better life, and we've really done everything we wanted to achieve since moving here.
Do I need to join the church to be accepted socially? Okay.
No, I mean, there are so many wonderful things about St. George that you just have to come out here and see everything that it has to offer. And it's a beautiful city. So I really recommend people come out here and checking it out.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I'm here with Christina Zavala, right? Did I say that right?
Absolutely.
Where are you from, Christina?
I am from Michoacan, Mexico.
Tell me a little bit about your journey here to St. George.
Well, we initially moved to northern Utah in 2002. The Olympic Games, everything.
Yeah.
We just came for a wedding. We ended up staying because my sister got a full ride scholarship. My mom didn't want to leave her. So we ended up staying up there. We lived there 10 years. I got engaged, married. My husband was running a company up north. Then he got offered to open one here in Washington.
Okay.
He said, you want to come and check it out? Obviously, he invited me in the best month of the year, which is April, as of right now.
Okay.
Everything is beautiful. The weather is perfect. It's not hot. It's just amazing, right? Look at the background.
Yeah.
And I said, why not? Best decision of our lives. Best place to grow a family. We have 2 kids. They were both born here.
So before coming to Utah from Mexico, I know you were younger, right?
Yes, I was 14.
Okay. Did you have any preconceived notions about Utah? Did you even know Utah existed?
Just on pictures, I just knew it snowed, it had mountains, and that's it.
So what did you think when you got here?
Well, again, I was up north. I thought, oh my gosh, what are we doing here? The weather was extremely cold. It doesn't snow where I'm from, so it was a shock, obviously, weather-wise, culture-wise, language, everything was new to us.
You said that your husband was offered some work here in St. George. Has that been nice to get out of the snow and come
Loved
here?
it. He has never looked back. I tried to persuade him into moving back when I had my second kid. He's like, no, there's no way. Look at this weather. Just look at the city. It's clean. We already have our own business. It's very established. He said, why would you move back? And I said, to be close to the family, right? But they come and go. It's close to northern Utah. It's only 4 or 5 hours away. So that's why we're still here.
When you came here at 14, we started meeting people here in Utah, right? Ultimately, there's a point where you're like, oh, so you're Mormons? What is that?
Absolutely, especially in such a small community as Ogden, right? They had, it's a class specifically for Mormons. I can't remember the name of it. Seminary, exactly.
In the schools.
So I said, what is that all about? One of my friends was converted. He persuaded me to go because they do a lot of activities for the young adults. I said, no, I'm not interested. I was not super Catholic or Christian because I was raised between the two. But I said, I'm not interested. And although I respect whatever you want to do, I've been very respectful about religion because it's a touchy subject. And I think anybody is open and welcome to believe whatever they want.
How many times have they tried to convert you?
Oh my goodness, countless of times. At least 60 a year, at least. I would get invitations. Again, he's one of my best friends. He will send the missionaries to my house every week just to see. He will send me the Book of Mormon as often as he could until I said, you know what? I'm just going to donate him somewhere because I haven't even opened one. I'm not interested on it, with all the respect. Yeah. But I don't want to be a Mormon.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Is it the same people that persist, or are you like, yeah, okay, I've told them I'm not interested, they're going to leave me alone now? Or
they will send different people. They will send different people. And it got to the point where my husband is super Catholic. And he said, should we put a sign on the door? And I said, no, I think that's too much. I think that's too rude, right? And I said, no, just let them knock. It's fine. They're doing their job. Just let them know we're not interested.
Your kids now, they're born and raised here. How are they treated as non-Mormons?
Look, I thought it was going to be very different going to the school they're going to right now. They go to Crimson View, and it's very, majority of the kids majority of the kids are Mormons. Right. And two of my friends are ex-Mormons now, so they said, I hope they don't get affected as much as the people usually do because they exclude them a lot when they're not Mormons. Okay. But I think that mentality has changed and has evolved so much. They haven't struggled at all. Okay. They have kids, they have play dates, just regular activities with their friends.
Overall, they don't feel ostracized or even at all, right? No. Do they feel like they're normal? Do they feel like they're kept out of activities or like?
Not as of right now, no. Okay. I haven't struggled with that, not yet.
That's great.
Yeah.
The majority of people here in St. George or in Washington County are Mormon.
Yes, they are.
Have you noticed a difference going from Ogden to St. George?
Not really. I think it's maybe because I was very used to getting that approach of, hey, come with us to church. You're invited to Sunday activities, things like that. And then when we got here, not knowing a lot of people, I think we were shocked of how many different backgrounds we get to know people from. I don't think we felt the difference at all. We would go to the restaurants and we were the only Mexicans. We were the only young people. Being here for 10 years, that has changed completely.
So St. George has changed over the last 10 years?
So much in size, in population, demographics, everything. It has grown so much.
Is there authentic Mexican food that you can get in St. George?
There is 2 places. I would recommend Angelica's and El Mazatlan in Hurricane.
Oh. Yeah. Okay, I haven't been there, but I've been to Angelica's. So what advice would you give to somebody that's moving here that's not Mormon?
To be respectful, first of all. We enrich each other by sharing the differences, right? That's how we connect with each other as well, because not everything in life is about your religion. There's more connection than that. Right. It's about community. In this Southern Utah community, it's very open. It has an open heart to embrace you into what they have to offer. And Southern Utah has a lot to offer. It's a safe place to raise a family. It's a safe work environment as well. You can run at night, not being scared of being killed or something. Yeah. So I think it's a very unique place to live. I mean, if you're an outdoors person, this is a place to be.
Would you consider the community here closed off to diversity, or open to it? Like on a scale of 1 to 10, how open? 10 being like, hey, they're totally open to diversity.
I would say as of right now, it's at 7. It's at 7. It's still some resistance there, but I think as much as it's growing, it'll be more acceptance because where are they gonna go? They have to accept it.
Right. Have you had friends that have come from outside the community that have moved here as well? You know,
Most
like
of my friends.
Okay.
Most of my friends.
Christina, what would you say is the political climate here in the St. George area?
It's very Republican.
Okay.
It's very closed-offish to certain ideas.
How can the people here in St. George embrace diversity better?
I would say be open-minded. Don't do assumptions. Don't discriminate. Don't just tag people based on their physical appearance. Give them a chance to express themselves. Give them a chance to get to know you and get to know them. That's, like I said in the previous question, that's how we enrich each other. That's how we evolve as community. I mean, just give them a chance. That's all they need.
Would you say that they need to learn English to come here to be accepted?
Well, that's why they're here, so they can better themselves. Always keep this in mind. They know another language. English will be the second language, just like me.
The Latino population is coming. Folks here like myself, I mean, I would love to learn Spanish. I love the Spanish people. I love Latino people. Will you teach me Spanish?
Of course, anytime. That's my major. I can teach you any of them too. It's growing.
Now, somebody like Neil, who's behind the camera here, he served a mission in Bolivia. And so he knows Spanish, right? Have you been amazed at how many returned missionaries that are of the Mormon faith speak Spanish?
Yes, and I love it. I love it because those are the ones that embrace the culture better and welcome people better.
Because they lived in it, right?
They experience it firsthand in another country. Yeah.
And they love the people.
Exactly.
I mean, the thing I love about the Latino culture is it's very family oriented. You know, and that's very similar to the culture here, right? Mormon culture, of course, very family oriented. I've got 8 kids.
Wow.
So I think St. George in the past has been thought of as a retirement community. And it, like you were saying, it's growing, it's becoming more diverse. There are more families here. There are more kids here than most people may think. In Washington County, there's 6 high schools here. There's enough kids here that if you have a family and you're coming to St. George, your kids are gonna have other kids to play with. Exactly. It's not all a retirement people.
Anywhere you go, you will see kids everywhere. I am impressed and amazed every time we go to parks, like activities like for the family. It's a ton of kids. You don't get to see more of the elderly community as much.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's true. Now, you know, St. George used to be Spanish territory, right?
Yes, it was ours. I'm just kidding.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your experience.
Come to St. George. This place is absolutely amazing. Thank you, Dan.
As you can see, you don't have to be Mormon to move here. St. George is growing and is becoming more diverse. So if you're interested and you have questions, reach out to me. If you like this video, maybe check out one of these.